Welcome back to another episode of Miss Elle Presents. Today I'm going to be making banana nut bread. It's one of my favorite recipes that I found online. It makes the most warm and inviting treat that you can share, or you can be selfish and keep all to yourself. I'm going to make a loaf right now. Why don't you follow along at home, and then you can let me know how yours turned out in the comments. Let's get started. All right, you guys, so this recipe is going to call for 4 bananas. You really want your bananas to be more on the ripe side. This is a great recipe if you have bananas that have gotten a little brown, because brown bananas tend to be a little bit sweeter than when they're yellow. It's also going to call for 4 eggs beaten, 1 cup of brown sugar, and then we're going to add in a cup of white sugar as well. 1 cup of butter, and that's 2 sticks. And then we also have over here 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda that we're going to sift together. This is just my jar that I use for my compostables, and I'm going to take my banana peel and put it in there so that I can take it and put it in the compost pile later. All right, so I have my sugar, my white sugar, and what we're going to do is we're going to take and measure out 1 cup of white sugar and add that to our 2 sticks of butter and 1 cup of brown sugar. And so we're going to now take our flour, baking soda, and salt, and we're just going to sift it into this bowl. That's going to get some air in that flour mixture and make sure that our bread is nice and fluffy. All right. And that's sifting wonderfully. And we'll just push that through. The next thing that I'm going to do, because I forgot earlier, is I'm going to preheat the oven. You need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees for this project. And it's okay if you do like I did and you forget to preheat your oven. You can make this batter and let it sit for a while. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to mash your bananas. All right. So now we have our mashed banana. And now we're going to cream together the butter and the sugar. Just put this in here. And if you have a hand mixer, you can use that as well. That's perfectly fine. And I'm actually going to switch over to my hand mixer. I just like to break up the butter a bit because sometimes you turn on your hand mixer and that butter just goes flying everywhere. So I like to break up the butter first and then use the hand mixer to finish everything off. And I'll be right back with that. All right, you guys, so I'm back. This is what your butter and sugar will look like once it's all creamed together. My butter was still a little cold from the refrigerator. You can leave your butter out on a countertop for a few hours to let it come up to room temperature. It'll cream a lot easier. Otherwise, I just took mine and put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds, and then it came together quite nicely. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add our eggs to the butter and sugar. And we are going to mix this together. And you want this to be well mixed. that looks amazing. I think I see some lumps. And then we're going to add our banana into this mixture. And then again, you want this to be well combined. All right, wonderful. Now we're going to take our sifted flour, baking soda, and salt mixture over here. And we are going to fold in and just mix the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. At this point, you want to just mix these together. You don't want this to be overmixed at all. You just want this to just come together. Okay. All right. Let that chill out. And I like to use a glass bowl because it allows me to check around the bottom to make sure that I've gotten all of that flour really well incorporated. Now, this would not be banana nut bread unless we added some nuts, right? So what I have here is 2 cups of walnuts. I'm going to put that out here on my little flexible cutting board. And I'm just going to rough chop these. I like my banana nut bread a little chunky. So I'm just going to put a rough chop on these walnuts. If you have one of those hand crank nut grinders, I have one in my cabinet. Feel free to use that if you like your nuts a little bit more finely chopped. But if you like yours to be a bit chunkier, go right ahead and just get your good knife out and cut them yourself. Chop them up yourself. And of course, make sure whenever you're handling a knife that you're mindful of where your fingers are. And there you have it. We're just going to incorporate those nuts into the batter. Now at this time, the oven is preheated. So the only thing we have left to do is flour our baking dish. And I'll go ahead and do that now. So I have my rectangle baking dish. I'm going to spray this with a little nonstick cooking spray. And then we're going to add a bit of flour. And it's okay if you add in too much. We're just going to throw away the excess. And just flour the inside of your dish. A little tap brings out all of the excess. And now we are going to put our batter into our bread pan. Now this recipe makes enough for 2 loaves of this wonderful banana nut bread. I only have 1 loaf pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one in the oven now. It's going to stay in the oven for about 35 minutes. What I'm going to do with the other half of this batter is I'm going to make banana nut muffins. Now these are awesome because you can take them with you to work, you can give them to your kids to share at school, and you don't have to worry about taking a knife with you or just carrying around sharp objects or things like that. And I have my ice cream scoop. This is an awesome tool to be able to use for your muffins because it's going to make sure that each muffin has about the same amount or pretty close to the same amount of batter. So it's going to come in and out it goes. That was probably a little too much. And we're just going to fill up as many of these muffins as we can. Keep in mind that because the muffins are smaller, they're going to take less time to bake than that full loaf. That's why we can go ahead and put the loaf in the oven now while we are filling the muffin tin. I think I may only be able to get through 1 pan of muffins before I run out. Now again, because this recipe makes enough, you could do all of them as muffins if you were doing a bake sale or something like that, or you can do 2 loaves of the banana nut bread. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven, and I'll be back when everything is done. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven, and I'll be back when everything is done. All right, you guys, so the muffins are all ready to go. Again, because the muffin tin is smaller, that's my reminder. Okay, so the muffins are ready to go. Again, the muffins are going to cook just a little bit faster than the loaf. So we actually put the loaf in first while we were filling the muffin tins, and it's still going to probably be a couple of minutes. So you want to test your banana nut bread loaf by sticking a knife or a toothpick into the center of the bread, and you want it to come out clean. If it comes out with any of the batter on it, it's not done and it needs a few more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take the muffins out now and show you what they look like. Stick around. So this is what the banana nut bread muffins look like. Aren't they gorgeous? Just wonderful and golden brown. I'm gonna leave this to cool for a few minutes while the bread is finishing off. And then by the time these have a moment to cool, it'll be time for the bread to come out. So I'll be back in just a moment with that update. So I'll be back in just a few minutes once the bread is ready to come out. I hope that you all are following along at home. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell icon so that way you're updated whenever I make an upload. And also email me or send me a message when you try this recipe so that I can know how well it went for you as well. So the loaf of banana bread is ready to go. It's been sitting in the oven just cooling down. Unfortunately, my phone died while I was waiting for the bread to finish. I'm going to take it out now and I'm going to go ahead and slice it so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. This is going to be amazing. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So this is how you check it. You want to just take your toothpick. This is just a skewer. Comes out clean. No gunk or liquid on there. I'm going to put this down here and get my other cooling rack out. And then we're going to turn the bread out onto the cooling rack. Now I have my butter knife here. I'm just going to go around. Just want to loosen that up. I mean, we did flour this bread pan, but we just want to make sure it's nice and loose so that our bread comes out in one piece. And we'll just let that come out and cool. And then we'll be back to slice it shortly, okay? All right, you guys, so our banana nut bread is out of the pan. We're just gonna turn this over so it can cool right side up. It smells amazing. So we have our muffins here that we're gonna take to work tomorrow to share with the coworkers. And then because we are a little selfish, we're going to keep the loaf here at home. And then that way we can also, you know, maybe invite some neighbors over and have a nice slice of banana nut bread with some tea or something like that. Okay, so you guys go ahead, try this recipe, and let me know in the comments how it worked out for you. I look forward to hearing your success stories. I'm sure you're going to love this recipe as much as I do. All right, you guys. Well, I'll be back next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Next week's video, maybe from the kitchen, maybe from out in the garden, or maybe just from my DIY table. Either way, we'll be doing something really fun that you can try at home. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Click that bell icon so that you're notified on each new video. I look forward to bringing you something new next week. Until then, have a great week, you guys. Talk to you later. Kisses. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is everything. It's so good. You gotta try this.